Aloha again, friends on the internet and YouTube and all the places. Thought I'd make a short lesson today on what Ted calls the 5 main areas of the fingerboard. Okay, the 5 main areas of the fingerboard and relating that to the blues scale. Okay, and if you learn this, well, you're going to be able to find your way around in a much more efficient way on this here instrument. Okay, now this is also very similar to what people call the caged system. I don't really like that system because it's just a bunch of misnomers, right? Oh, that's a C shape, but it's a D chord. To me, that just breeds confusion. So anyway, let's just look at what Ted's showing us here. He's breaking down 5 regions of the fretboard into major, minor, and dominant chords. We'll start with minor, and we'll do it in the key of A because that's what Ted recommends. And he gives us this, right? This shape and this shape. I bet most of you know this one. And this one. This one might be a little new to some of you. First inversion of A major. Bet you heard of this one, maybe. That vibe. Last one. And this one can also be octave reduced to the good old A chord. Okay. Now, as you're getting acquainted with these, you're going to want to ask yourself, can I identify where the root is, right? When I play, or I can even get it like so. One more time there. We want to know that you got the root on the bottom, there, and here. Know where your roots are, right? Same thing with here. Got the root on the below string, got the root on the D string, got the root on top. Good news. Now here, the root is not on the bottom or the top. The root, your index has the root, and your pinky has the root. So it might be a little trickier finding the root when it's buried in the shape, but that's very important. Then we get to this shape. Notice I've got the root on the bottom with my pinky, but of course I can, you can't really, with harmonics I can get it all. 5th, root, 3rd, 5th, root, 3rd, and finally here, roots on the A string, roots on the G string. I'll reach for this guy, why not? Root way up there. As you get acquainted with these regions, you'll start to be able to link them, right? Start to be able to link them. And what I would do initially is, if one of these is unusual to you or unfamiliar, just take it, like say for instance this first inversion of A, this guy, and just to get the shape acquainted, just move it in half steps. So that's A major, B flat major, B major, C major, C sharp, D, and name what you're doing. You can add a little rhythmic fun to it. Boop. Okay, so do that with any of the shapes. I bet you, like I said, I bet you know this one and this one. Those are kind of well known. This one will probably challenge some of you because the pinky's on the bottom. And a lot of guitarists just neglect the old pinky. We don't want to do that. We want to strengthen our pinky. So this one, move it around. Have a good old time with it, okay? You hear that train a-coming? Hear that train a-coming. Forget the lyrics, but I've been listening to Johnny Cash lately. Okay, so we're taking shapes, moving them chromatically just to make sure we've got all those shapes in our system. We got this bad boy. Oh, forgive me. We got this bad boy. We have got this bad boy. We got, and the pinky on the bottom. And this bad boy. All right. get acquainted with each one of those. Get acquainted with each one of those. Try moving them chromatically. Then if you want to take it a step further, try moving them in various patterns, like a cycle of 4s. Say we want to exercise that first inversion. Well, you'll really start to know the neck if we go, okay, A to D, to G, to C, to F, to B flat. And I'm tracking my root motion. I know my pinky's on the root and my index is on the root, to E flat, A flat, D flat, F sharp, B, E, and I'm back to A. So I just played every major chord I can in this particular shape, right? In a cycle of 4s. It forces you to jump around and make connections that you wouldn't make otherwise, or connections you're not going to make moving chromatically, right? And similar, I would do this with any of those shapes that's giving you trouble. Maybe it's pinky on the bottom, A to D, G, C, F, B, E flat, A flat, etc., right? F sharp, B, E, A. Okay? So once you got major in your hand, right, then the next question is, well, can you turn them into minor, right? So we had started with this thing, that major. Now to make this minor, we got to think like this. And you could put the minor third in there with the middle like that. It's a little tough. This particular shape doesn't necessarily allow you to grab everything, but you can if you really want. Like that, or like this if you want to do a pinky bar. That's a vibe, right? Right? There's our first minor. Then of course good old A minor bar. We know that one. This is an important one, the first inversion of a minor chord. And notice it's also a C6, depending on how you want to interpret it and the harmonic context. But here we're thinking minor. We're thinking A minor, A minor, A minor. Okay? Okay, moving on up, we got this guy. Yeah, this is important. This shape. Sometimes you can just grab the triad. And alas, this bad boy, which we can octave reduce as this. And so what I would do, just same thing with the major. Well, of course, move it. If a particular shape is challenging you, move it up and down. But then just, can you run the whole thing? A minor, next region, 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 the next region, which was this one, an octave higher. This is how you start to integrate the whole neck, okay? There are particular shapes that show up, the particular architecture of how your most basic chords show up all over the neck, okay? So we looked at major, we looked at minor, and then Ted brings in dominant for some reason. Why not? Great shape, great sound to have. This here, this bad boy. Where are we at now? This bad boy. This bad boy. And this bad boy. Just getting these in your system. Yeah, so just getting these in your system will do a lot for your knowledge of how to get around on the fretboard, right? Now, once you've spent some time with those, Ted is now recommending that we notice that the 5 areas come, he says the 5 areas can be used to conceptualize and visualize the blues and pentatonic scales below. So let's say we're up here with, what was this guy? The A minor, right? We want to be able to play certainly our pentatonic. Can you add the blue note? Next region. Next region, running through the minor, we got this. Or, lucky me, I got my low B string. So I can get my A there, I don't go down here, I got my low A there. Get to this region. I can't really emphasize enough how important it is to have your pentatonics utterly and totally integrated into your reality as a human, because especially on this instrument is a pentatonic instrument. And what I mean by that is, if you were actually to take the tuning of the instrument, right, E, A, D, G, B, and put that in the sequence, if you put it in musical alphabetical order, it creates a pentatonic scale, right? E, G, A, B, D, or E, G, A, B, D. The notes of the open tuning are the notes of a E minor pentatonic scale or a G major pentatonic scale. So the instrument itself is tuned pentatonically. Hence, pentatonics are important. Hence, 5 regions, right? This region, this region, this region, this region, this region. Pretty cool, right? Okay. You hear the music next door? We got a trumpet lesson going on next door. So look, all this is to say, if you learn every region, there's 5 of them, really, it's going to make your life a lot easier. And I know it might seem a little daunting at first, but just start with one of those regions that you're not familiar with and practice moving it around, right? Most guitar players know your typical bar, right, or this one. We know those, right? But plenty of players aren't familiar with this as an A minor chord. Can we go A minor to D minor, G minor, C, F, B flat, etc., right? A lot of players have trouble with this one. It's tough. When the pinky's on the bottom, it's going to call for a little more work. So, work on it. Okay, A minor, how about D minor? That's a tough one. Ooh, G minor. If you get really bold, you can do the 5th finger principle. Add your knuckle up there. If you're feeling a little crazy, you can do that. Anyway, all this is to say that at the end of the day, there's really only 5 regions or 5 archetypal shapes or areas on the fretboard. Get acquainted with those, you start to see how inversions tend to show up. You start to see how regions tend to blend. You start to see, believe it or not, that all this can make sense. It can actually make sense. So the PDF to this particular document is down below. Check it out if this is a new idea to you, and I hope that helps. Catch you on the flippity-doo-dah. Adios.